There exists in Dota a prestigious award, a digital medal handed out only to the most heroic of players. The players who sacrifice themselves for the team, the players who persevere through every hardship, the players who feed incessantly and still make it out the other side. That award is the Maelk Award, and it is given only to players who do incredible things in the face of unbelievable KDAs. The Maelk Award is somehow both an honor and a dig on the player that earns it. It represents teamwork, sacrifice, perseverance, and perhaps most importantly, incessant feeding. It requires one player to go through a game with 0 kills and at least 20 deaths and then still somehow win. It seems impossible, but this man did it.
It's fun. It's great. They had their fun. We won the game. Everyone wins. The meme was created. The community wins.
The Maelk Award was born when Jacob Maelk Toft-Andersen was playing on EG in the ancient days of 2012. Maelk was playing position 4 for EG, and the team was still trying to get their feet on the ground.
I think that's a lot more confident.
They have to settle down for 3rd place. I think it is already something to be achieved at least. Getting 3rd place in such a huge tournament as a newly formed team of completely international players. But I think they have sort of disappointed some of their fans.
But it was the early days of Dota 2, and it was a total Wild West. And that meant that teams like the 2012 mousesports roster could thrive.
Hi, so how are you spending your time in Seattle so far if you're not gaming?
Masturbating.
Sorry?
Masturbating.
So essentially, we're playing this meme team from mousesports. You know, they have all these dumbasses on their roster.
How hard was that game?
It was probably close to my easiest game of my life.
They have Sing Sing, I think. They have Trixie. They have all these morons who don't know how to win in Dota. They know how to have fun though, and I respect that, because gaming is ultimately about having fun first and foremost.
All right, thank you very much, Sing Sing, for coming on the show. Good luck in the future games, and we'll see you later.
Thank you, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Nice.
Fucking Sing Sing.
But if MOUs were memeing in the online joinDOTA Masters League, EG were taking things seriously. They found themselves ahead in gold, but behind in XP in the early game, thanks to a few early kills from MOUs.
The XP graph, why is it going the way of mousesports? We are going to see Venomancer getting ripped off inside the trees. Once again, Maelk backed into a corner, unwillingly.
With Vanguard,
oh, Shackle!
dropped Shiva, and Maelk is very dead.
And after scoring a few early kills on Maelk's Venomancer, they thought it'd be hilarious to just keep killing him. So they did.
And is Trixie going to find Maelk hiding inside the trees?
Over.
Lacoste wants to go in for a black hole as well, but not enough people is there, and the first one to die is Maelk.
Okay.
And over.
Stacey Bamboo is locked, but Stacey Bamboo is out. Maelk, yeah, he is the only one dead. As the blink goes out.
And over.
Morano finally hands it over.
Oh,
and
Maelk.
blink in, Maelk. Arrow's gonna fly. Hits on Stacey Bamboo. Fear's gonna go in.
And over.
Although he might need to swap something around now, Maelk is even going to ult chat his score. And, I mean, you push the streak from Bamboo. But Trixie...
While EG were farming well and maintained a gold lead for most of the game, MOUs still had the XP advantage, and it was starting to matter a lot more.
Goldcraft has finally
really
dipped away the
hilarious.
mousesports. From the start of the game, we're 55 minutes in, and mousesports have only just got the advantage as far as gold goes. XP, they've had it since the start, basically.
By the end of the game, Maelk had died 20 times without picking up a single kill. But it wasn't for lack of trying. While MOUs decided to be hilarious to keep killing Maelk, he was trying to help his team win. And even though he kept dying, sometimes he'd get the chance to pop his ultimate first. Venomancer's Poison Nova ability can't actually kill anything. It creates a ring of poison that spreads out and deals damage over time to every enemy in it, but it leaves them at 1 HP. That means that even though Maelk did tons of damage to MOUs, he never actually got any kill credit for it. But the rest of his team did.
Middle lane, gotta be careful. They realize a lot of abilities are down, and Nemo comes in! The black hole catches 3, but it doesn't. Rexy misses with a shackle, holds Fear there, but Fear holds his line. CC pops the ultimate before he's gonna die. Fear just right-clicked him to death.
It didn't matter much though. Both teams were kind of a mess. EG were effectively playing with only 4 heroes, and while MOUs were winning fights, they weren't winning hard enough to end the game.
My first 10 deaths, some of them should have been avoided by me, some of them was just good play by them. when we go into the later stages of the game, by all means, we should have lost. They had a full inventory morphling. They were decked out on all their heroes.
Do I even want to look at the goal per minute? It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter. CS, we don't even need to give a crap. But 564 CS, 18 for 2 for Morphling. Trixie's meme is even a smiley face right now. He is grinning through his old name at EG of how much farm he has got.
They, by all means, should have won with the lineup they had. What they did, though, they realized, oh, this guy has so many deaths. Let's just see how many we can keep on adding on to that. You know, I think at some point in the game, some of them would like write XD and sit and talk about how funny this was.
He's actually got more deaths than he's got more
well.
deaths than levels.
He's got more deaths than levels.
And so, after over an hour of play, EG decided it was time to keep forcing themselves into Mouse's base until it stuck. But not before Maelk died one more time.
A fortification, they've still got up their sleeve for the Radiant side. Doom comes in, will it be enough? Ravage will pop, Maelk is gone.
And while Maelk may have died one last time, EG's creeps finally managed to close out the game after an hour and 26 minutes.
In the meantime, Rexy trying to hold off and off, but it's GG! It goes through the rear, the mega creep's taken. They take out the throne while Mouseboys try for everything they were worth to push down EG.
Maelk finished the game 0, 20, and 21, and EG still managed to win. That seems impossible, but there's a few reasons for why it happened. For one, Mouse was really only focused on killing Maelk. And another thing was that it was still the early days of Dota 2, and people just weren't as good at playing the game as they are now.
Wait. The Dire just used the glyph.
What?
That's why Lacoste went lol in all chat. I think somebody misclicked the glyph.
Oh man, it's a trap.
But the stat line stuck. It became an award. The player who manages to go 20 deaths without a single kill and still win the game does deserve recognition. It's mostly applied to amateur games, where players, casters, and pros alike have witnessed heroes who have bravely given themselves over to the Maelk Award's hallowed halls of esteemed recipients.
I've had a decent amount of years to sort of get used to it. I think I very rarely meet people for the first time without them remembering that particular game, so I'm very used to the fact that people bring it up. I've also hosted, or not hosted, but I've been on the desk in so many tournaments where my co-analysts keep bringing it up and finding it amusing. When Paul was new to Dota 2, he also used it as a cornerstone of his mockery.
And finally, last but not least, our panel wouldn't be complete without a star name, a former pro player with expert knowledge and predictions, and a popular figure with the community. Sadly, we could only get Maelk.
I've had to grow some hard skin whenever that was brought up.
And Maelk himself is totally okay with the fact that his name is attached to what isn't exactly the most prestigious award in Dota history. That's probably because he won the game.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Go next.
And honestly, that's what makes the Maelk Award so impressive. Maelk did more in death than he did in life, and his team found a way to use the fact that he was dying so often to their advantage. Dota is unique among MOBAs in that deaths don't matter as much as they do in a game like, say, League of Legends. So you can actually make it back despite having a player on your team who has more deaths than levels. Dota is a game of teamwork, and that means that even if someone looks like they're feeding, it might just be an elaborate plan concocted by their team to win. Or they might be getting camped by some trolls. Either way, they'll get an award for it.
Thanks for watching. If you want more great content just like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button.